welcome to episode 10 of Distilling Greatness. Today we are in the beautiful Tennessee Theater. The beauty of today is that we're not up in the mezzanine overlooking an amazing lobby. We're actually on the stage in today's episode. It's called Gathering Around the Ghost Light, and we're going to hear a little bit about that. With all of our very distinguished guests here, we'll start off with the lovely 9 to 5 Amanda Dolly Burton over here.
Hi, Kris. Thank you for having me. It's going well. Just working that 9 to 5.
I like it. I'm loving it. Amanda's our senior manager of digital media for the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, which is a really big, long title.
Very long title.
Yeah,
but that's all right.
So it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Also joining me is my good friend and my business partner, Jeff / Arnett. Mm-hmm. How's it going, Slash? You doing all right?
Great. Good day to be the Slasher Distiller of Company.
That's exactly it. The Slasher Distiller. And finally, I mean, he could not be on the stage in the Tennessee Theater without the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Burns. Now, hold your applause. But the thing is that Tim, this stage outfit that he has, the stagehand outfit actually is. It's at one of those, I think it's in an old Walmart now. It's a Halloween store.
Yes, I've seen it online too. You can actually buy an authentic stagehand costume. It's the scariest costume you could possibly buy. Trust me.
I believe it.
I'm gonna buy one of those and try to get into a sold out show.
Oh, wow.
That's an idea.
There's secrets there.
I forgot my key card. So Tim,
I had the walkie-talkie and you're golden.
Okay. Oh, we have the inside tips there. Everybody got that, right? So
I should use that on Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely. So Tim, you are the technical director here at the Historic Tennessee Theater Foundation.
I am,
correct?
Yes, I am.
So we'll start, well, first off, to let you know, as you can guess, this is definitely a Halloween edition. I am more of a fear and loathing. If you're watching this, you're doing drugs because my head's huge and the hat is small. I don't have the bracelets of Johnny Depp nor the beautiful hair, but the idea is there. So we're having a great time. I'm actually going to take my sunglasses off because I couldn't see anything. So
I can't either. But it makes me more comfortable in this costume to think y'all can't see me either.
That's right. I'm not here. But it is our Halloween edition. We are stoked to be here and love that the two of you decided to join us and opted to join us. You'll regret it afterwards. That's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Highly doubt that.
So we will start off with Mr. Tim Burns.
Yes, sir.
Now I want to go ahead and we're going to do some. I want to give me a little. We want some qualifications here at the very beginning. We'll start off big time. We're around the ghost light. Are there ghosts in the Tennessee Theater?
No, they are not.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Are there ghosts in any theater?
Oh yes. If you want to go to a haunted theater here in Knoxville, go right down the street to the Bijou. It's haunted like crazy. I can personally attest to it.
Well, we're going to explore that.
Okay.
Because I'm very interested. I admit I'm a little skeptical, but we're going to share some stories and events. Jeff, do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in things we can't see.
Yeah. Okay. Dolly, Amanda. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Is it that uncanny?
It is so.
As far as ghosts, I'm on the fence. I know that there's spiritual activity that happens, but whether it's actual people, the jury is still out for me. I've had things experience myself, but I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't. I think it's a joke. I'm just kidding. That's not it at all. I think, wow, lights are screwing with us. That's nice. So anyway, so we'll keep going here. So Tim, you talked about the Bijou Theater, which is another gorgeous theater that Knoxville, Tennessee has.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have 2 historic theaters.
Amazing. I've seen some. I think my favorite concert there was Tommy Emmanuel.
Yes.
And that was just a phenomenal concert there in the Bijou. But let's get right to it. I want you to give us your first encounter, why you believe there's ghosts of the Bijou.
Well, that's
Theater.
where I started my career, is at the Bijou. I was part of the Save the Bijou campaign in 1976. And started happening early on there. We'd be on the stage and up on the grid, which is above 57 feet above the stage floor. There'd be a large bang, and then dirt and stuff would come down and fall and hit the floor. And we'd look up there and didn't see anything and just thought, okay, birds, something up there. Because all stages have smoke hatches on top, and this was old, and it was they tend to be open. So any kind of critter could have gotten in there. So that's what it was. No, definitely what it was. Well, it kept happening. And we still just passed it off as some sort of an animal, bird or something up there banging around. Well, I was up on what we refer to as the jump, which is a platform about midway up. And it happened, big bang up there on the grid, and stuff comes dropping down, hitting the stage floor. And I said, well, I'm going up there. So I climbed the ladder on up to the grid, which is the structure up there, and nothing, nobody, no animal, nothing up there. So I thought, well, that's weird. Okay, it left. Well, about December of 1976, put a new roof on the whole building, put a new smoke hatch. Everything's tight. That's going to stop it, right? Didn't even slow it down. Constant bang, hitting stuff, dropping down, hitting the stage floor. Okay, by this time we're saying it's the ghost. Okay, so we're just living with it. Well, the renovation was going on, and during the renovation, to replaster the ceiling, they built a complete floor on scaffold just underneath the ceiling, where the plasterers get up there, work to replaster the ceiling and paint it. And I was the only one in the theater because they left around 3. I closed the theater up about 5. I know I was the only one in the theater. I'm walking down the side aisle and up on the scaffold. Bam! Plaster dust and everything comes sifting through the walkboards and hitting the floor. And I thought, well, the ghost has moved to the scaffold. Well, I experienced that a few times, and I just got used to
ghost,
it.
By the way,
evidently,
it's not very stealth.
And so the workers would show up about 7, and in the morning I'd come in about 9. One morning, they had finished all the plaster work, and they were taking all the scaffold down. And they had just about the center part of the scaffold. Everything else was torn down. They only had the center part of the scaffold left. And so I came in. They were loading stuff there on Cumberland on their truck. And the foreman looked at me. He said, "You almost didn't find us here today." And I said, "Really? Why? What happened?" He said, "We came in here this morning. We turned on the lights. We were standing up here on stage, finishing our coffee like we always do. Sit up on that scaffold. There was a huge bang, and we looked up, and there was plaster dust and everything came flying off the top of that scaffold." He said, "And there was nobody up there. You can see, if you look up there, if there was somebody been up there, we'd have seen him. There wasn't a soul up there." And I looked at him and said, "Well, it happens all the time." Their eyes got this big, and they said, "Not with us in here," and we are all ready to turn around and leave.
That's pretty awesome, because you had somebody else, experience it there. That's kind of neat. That's a pretty neat story.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Jeff, you got any kind of ghost stories, or what are your thoughts there? I mean, I'm putting Jeff on the spot.
I think every kid, had a ghost story that really kind of like traumatized them. Yeah. And I'm no different in that regard. I grew up on the south side of Jackson, Tennessee, and our house was not far from a road that was called Hart's Bridge. And as you would imagine, Hart's Bridge had at least one bridge on it, quite a few actually. And at some point, young couple, driving too fast, hits the bridge, ended up dying out there. But the story just got, more embellished and more embellished over time. I'm not really sure how it went down, but it all happened before I was born, kind of deal.
Gotcha.
But the story would be, of course, you go out there at the right time of the night, the moon's full and you're at the right time. You got to cut your lights off on your car. You got to honk your horn so many times. And then somebody's going to come out from underneath the bridge holding their head. And I would hear that story as a kid, and I would just go, I think every community had that location in their town, and that story was told. But I can remember as a kid thinking, "Oh man, I'm not going out Hart's Bridge Road ever." Then I lived off of it, and I had to drive out it.
Did you ever flash the lights though?
No. We didn't go out there and do that.
Yeah, I think that's funny that we they have a tendency, like, I know I've got friends and they'll be like, I don't believe in ghosts or whatever. I'm like, oh, well, go say Sandman in the mirror 3 times. No, man, that's just stupid. Why would you do that?
As I got older, though, it was pretty fun. We would go out on old roads where there were like abandoned old houses and just kind of walk up in there. Yeah. It was a little hair trigger.
Yeah. I think the whole paranormal thing is definitely, first off, it's a fun conversation, but I think it messes so much with the emotions of it. And then you're also sitting there like, wow, can this really be real? Is there really, what in the hell is actually dropping dirt and plaster from the top? And then it becomes where it's not explainable. So you're like, well, I guess it has to be, so. But now, Amanda, you did this great article. The reason you're on this, I've known you, 10 years or so?
10 years.
Well, 17 years, something like that. Yeah. Amanda, actually, Jeff, you remember, and we talked about a little bit before the show here, that Amanda was part of the team that helped us launch Tennessee Whiskey Trail.
I did. Yeah.
June of 17.
That was great.
Yeah, it was a good time.
A great memory.
It was a great memory, and appreciate you and
the day
and
that
Cindy.
Kris ghosted Kentucky.
Yeah, I stirred a little, you know what? So that's okay though. But it was
which
fun.
will live in infamy.
That's right.
Hey, if you're going to be a change maker, you have to rustle some feathers, right?
That's right. That's
He dropped
exactly
the
it.
gauntlet challenge. Challenge
That's right.
that
That's
state.
right.
And y'all are doing really well too.
It is still doing great. We were able to do a podcast earlier with the group, Charity and them. So it was really good. And we're firm believer. Jeff can attest to it, and has talks about as well the importance of tourism, especially in East Tennessee and in Townsend. And that's one of the reasons I know Jeff came here was because of a tourist event.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a new brand, you're always looking for an opportunity to get good visibility. And the fact the Smoky Mountains gets pretty much the whole eastern half of the United States passing through in some volume. It's a very attractive spot to set up your first storefront. The small distillery in Townsend, but we see a lot of different states from there, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your marketing is fabulous. Every time you guys pop up on Instagram, I'm just like, man, those photos are just amazing. So y'all are you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. So you did this article, I believe it was last year maybe, or maybe the year before, is online. You're over in digital media. So did this article about paranormal activity across the state.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did you get into it? Like, what did you find? Tell us a couple of things. Maybe look at a region. Tim covered Bijou.
Sure.
We'll come back to another, other ghost story or story of Tim's. But tell us a little bit about what do you see across the state?
Well, it became, just going back to the origin of the article, there is a very large group of people who just love to dip into the supernatural side of life, and it's a really great way to dive into history because you end up learning about different people and groups and what they experienced. And it really brings everybody together because, if you're going through a hard time, you're not the only one who's gone through a hard time. So there's that communal part of it that we're all connected to history and each other. And we do that through the telling of stories, sometimes ghost stories.
Yeah.
So I was, just thinking that we need to tell these stories and celebrate the history of Tennessee. While writing it, I will say that I scared myself straight. Just reading about all of the crazy things that have happened at different parts, across the state. Like Jonesboro, for instance, it's one of Travel Channel's most haunted towns in America. The entire town. Yeah.
Wow.
And, doing a history tour, they do such a wonderful job, telling their history. You can sign up for one of their daily tours and, there's historical reenactors who will come and take you around town and tell you the history. But standing in front of some of the buildings, you can just get that eerie feeling. It could be a sunny day and you're just like, something isn't quite right here. And then, as you're being watched. Yes, exactly. And personally, as I've done history tours, because when I first started with the department, I was with the public relations team. So we would take media around to different parts in the state. And that's really how I was able to experience Tennessee at large. Right. But just different historical places. You'll be standing in a room or, just walking upstairs and there's just something, like Jeff said, you're being watched.
Yeah.
And there are some places that celebrate their haunting history, like Thomas House Hotel in Red Boiling Springs. So Red Boiling Springs, that's in Middle Tennessee. A lot of people would go there because of the healing factors of the sulfur, I guess you could say.
Jeff's the science guy. You're
answering Jeff will know. You know what I'm saying.
Bowling Springs,
but Thomas House Hotel, they're haunted. Apparently, they're built on a Native American burial ground, and there have been accidents and all sorts of terrible things that have happened. So people have died, and then they just never left. And they play up on that. They bring paranormal groups in, and they'll ghost hunt. And actually, some people in our department have created their own paranormal group.
And within the tourist development?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
on their own time.
Leading that? Ezel leading that?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I mean, if he's heading that up, I got to go see this group in action.
No, that was a group that was started by Jill Kilgore. She loves haunted things, and she loves history and mystery tours and everything. So she was able to hunt down the people who are really into ghost hunting. I am not one of those people. Even them sharing the stories, I get shivers down my spine. And so they have gone to several places, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary being one of them. They just did Bell Witch Cave, and I have a really weird story to tell y'all if you want me to share it.
I mean, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll bookmark
Jeff,
that.
Yeah. We'll hold hands if we need to.
Right. Well, it's around the Bell Witch Cave, so that was their last tour that they've done. And my coworker, Mary Caitlin, was with Jill Kilgore and Patrick Green, those other two TDTD team members. And they're sitting in the cabin of, I think it was John Bell's cabin, but it's a replica because the original had some structural problems or something. So it's a replica. So they were sitting on the floor with the tour guide, and they had their paranormal tools. And all of a sudden, they hear, Mary, Mary. And the guide said, who's Mary? And they have little, I don't know, they're like metal sticks. And they pointed to Mary Caitlin. All of a sudden, she gets sick, headache, could hardly breathe, nausea. The guide said, get out of the cabin, go get some fresh air. And as soon as she got out of the cabin, she felt better.
Yeah. I did. I got a little chills in. So, I admit I did because I would have been pissed at you for putting me in that situation.
With his luck, it would have been Kris.
He's exactly right. It would have been Kris, and I had another heart attack. I'm like, what? Come on. Can you pick somebody else in the group? You know what I'm saying?
Right. But it was wild. So, and she was shaken up, and we were talking about it, and she's fine now. But yeah. And then someone in their group took a picture of the cabin. And they didn't notice it while they were taking the picture, but afterward they saw a figure in the doorway of the cabin, and I can show it to you.
Oh, you've got to get that. Get that over there for us to maybe try to integrate that in the.
For sure. We'll try to get permission to share it from the group, from the photographer who took it. Yeah,
that'd be fantastic. Well, I'll tell you a little quick. I told you I'm not a believer, if you will, but I did get chills on your story, and then I was down in Charleston with a really good friend, and we did this tour on the ship down there, the battleship down there, and this is in like July or August. It's July, and it's blazing hot, and so you already kind of get the temperature there, and you're walking around. I mean, I'm not a very svelte individual, so obviously the heat is gonna affect me. Jeff and I are sweaters.
We have a gift.
No one else has.
We try to out-sweat one another.
Exactly.
It just comes natural.
It's natural. And so we're, doing this, and they're telling these stories. And obviously with it being an old ship, people died there, et cetera. Well, there was this hall, and they told this story, and it was this hall, and it was dark. I mean, I'm talking pitch dark. And they're like, you can walk down through there, and people have been known to feel a presence. And there was like a picture. And the friend that I was with, they were like, well, I'm not doing that. And I was trying to act all bad, but I admit that to this day, and they'll hear this, I wasn't going to go down that hallway either. So, because it did feel like there was something. It's a feeling. I think you said that. You get this feeling in your gut or in your stomach, Now
I kind of want to go down that hallway.
I don't know. It was maybe in the winter because it was pretty hot. But so we shared a couple of stories. Now let's get down to some info, if we will. Tim, I asked you, how in the hell did you get into this business? And you said, I was born into it. Tell us a little bit how you end up you're going to your 44th year?
44th year here, yes. I was at the Bijou a couple of years before that.
Tell us about how you got into it. I'd love to hear it. Because I've heard your name many times, like he's the guru, he's the man. I mean, I didn't exaggerate. The man, the myth, the legend is Tim. So tell us.
It's only because I've been here forever. But no, my dad was a projectionist, and so I was figuratively born in a projection booth. The old Pike Theater out in Bearden, which later became the Capri Cinema. He'd been there and since 1951, and then he'd bring me there to babysit me or whatever. So I hung out there, and so he dragged me along a lot of the various theaters. He would work relief some at the old Riviera, which was on Gay Street, where the current Riviera Theater is today, and everything. But a neat story here at the Tennessee, because he was working for the competing company.
Okay.
So all the Walt Disney movies played here at the Tennessee back in the 60s. And so if I went to see a Walt Disney picture, he'd bring me up here. Well, when they ran movies, particularly during the daytime, they would close the balcony to the public. And so he'd bring me up here, sit me in the balcony, and then he'd go on upstairs so he could shoot the bull with his cohorts up there. And so I'd be up there in the balcony watching the movie with the audience below me, so that was a really neat experience.
Well, I do the same thing with my boys, except it's called an iPad. So
yeah, exactly. But anyway, I never took to the projection or the movie end of it. I went into always attracted to the live end of it.
Okay. And
I actually started in high school. They actually had a course back then, and I took it, and then I got bit, and started at the Bijou and then came here in 1979. Exactly 44 years this month. 44 years this month. I started October 18th was my first show here.
Man, fantastic. So you're just a couple of weeks away from 44. Man, that's great. I think Nikki's going to do a huge party for you is what I heard. I think it's going to be like steak, shrimp.
No pressure there, Nikki.
No pressure.
I love shrimp.
Yeah, it's like a whole surf and turf. Yeah, the whole surf and turf. She was talking about it.
There we go, of course.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that she takes care of you on that. So
Alaskan king crab legs. They're my
okay,
favorite.
Yeah, well, hey, you know
like
what?
Your style.
I love
your style, and I am with you.
I love it.
I would go for that.
Love it. Well, so jump over here real quick. Jeff, we were putting this together. First off, Jeff and I were supposed to be Axel and Slash, and obviously communication was not great on my side because I thought he said, "I've got that." I'm like, great. He's bringing me like, a redhead,
the tattoo sleeves
and all
the
that.
big wig.
And so, but
I saw him recently though, and you look like him.
I do. I mean, I just felt as Axel.
He doesn't have that fire orange hair much anymore.
My voice is
he's
better.
a little different. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, he's on the struggle bus when it comes to vocals.
Yeah,
but
well, you got to go to a party recently out on the West Coast.
I did.
Tell me a little bit about that. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so actually, my costume. This is a recycle of one that I wore earlier this year. So I've been friends with Guy Fieri for 15 years now, and went to his birthday party many years ago, and it was a blast. And but I reached out to him and said, "Hey, how are things going?" And he said, "Please come to my birthday party. It's coming up, next month." And Sammy's agreed to, he's a partner with Santo Tequila. So Sammy had agreed to sing I Can't Drive 55 because it was his 55th birthday.
Okay.
But it was 80s rocker themed and everything. So I'm like, that'll be fun. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is it.
I love it.
I thank a friend of mine for loaning me the hat and hair.
Yeah.
The rest is mine.
I think it's badass.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to Torn Jeans and everything.
I did.
I love it.
This is on the sale rack at H&M if anybody's looking for some of these. So.
We were not monetizing this show, but now we are. We know we are now. That's good. We got H&M. We got So Amanda, a little bit about what you do, but more importantly, I mean, I think we know what you do. I know I do, but tell them about what you do. But then let's talk about what you got coming up for the rest of the fall.
Yeah,
across the state.
Well, I have the privilege and honor of telling Tennessee stories, music, history, culinary, you name it. If you can experience it, we'll talk about it. So a lot of those stories are shared on @TNVacation. And then, of course, the articles are on tnvacation.com.
Okay.
But as we all know, fall is gorgeous in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. It is unmatched. Millions of people come just to experience the fall color. And because of that, we have a lot of festivals happening in Tennessee. I'll just give you top 3, top 5.
Whatever. I mean, let's just chat.
If you are wanting a spooky experience, Appalachian Ghost Walks in Northeast Tennessee will take you around Johnson City, Jonesboro, Greenville, Gatlinburg even, so that you can hear the experiences. And actually, I didn't know this, but ETSU is a haunted campus.
Oh, no
and they
way.
Do, yeah.
And your daughter's
I was
there.
going to say, now you tell me. My daughter is there.
Yeah.
Well, if she's scared of ghosts, don't tell her. But yeah, apparently it is.
Hit pause, Elizabeth. Hit pause. Tell us about it.
If something happens to her bad there, I'm going to haunt that campus. I'm just going to say, don't mess with my daughter.
You're going to be a ghost hunter.
I'm going to be
and not in the fun
nightmare.
way.
That's right.
Going to sleep will not escape me.
That's right.
No, she's fine. But yeah, if you want to hear the stories of those Appalachian Ghost Walks, we'll take you around and tell you the stories. Obviously, at Dollywood, the Harvest Festival presented by Humana is going on until the end of the month. 12,000 lighted pumpkins throughout the entire park. It's gorgeous. It's great luminites. So
they do a fantastic job.
They really do.
There. I mean, I feel like everything they do, from their original like Festival of Nations that they did forever, through the Christmas stuff to the luminite stuff, is just it's top notch. They do a great job. You all, Dolly, you all did great there.
Oh,
you did great job. Go ahead. But you mentioned a second ago about oh gosh, no, I've already forgotten the distillery.
Brushy Mountain,
man.
Yeah.
Space for a second.
It's the ghost.
Yeah.
But it's Brushy Mountain Prison, but there's also a distillery there.
Yes.
I haven't had a chance to visit either. I've been to most all the distilleries across the state.
I haven't been there either, but I know they do paranormal tours there. And I'm certain there's a lot of stories to be told about that place.
I bet it is.
And the people who have gone on those paranormal tours have been shoved, yelled at, scratched.
I've heard their tour guides are pretty rough on people.
You got to have a thick skin if you're going to go to the prison.
Yeah, we're more of a hands-off
somebody
location.
in the head and say a ghost did it.
And another thing that I learned from End of the Line, that's their moonshine and vodka.
Yeah.
It is the world's only prison-produced spirits.
Legally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Raise and Shine thing's been going on a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's what I love about my job, though. You get to learn all these tidbits of information, and there is not a day that goes by that I don't learn something new about our great state.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that what we chose as our characters today, especially mine and Tim's, I mean, we're there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, I mean, really truthfully, Slash and Dolly it's the essence of Tennessee, which is music and food, I mean, that's just huge. And then the outdoor aspect of it. And, we're very fortunate to be here.
Oh, absolutely.
Big time.
My time at Jack, I got to go all over the world, most states. But when you say Tennessee, it's Elvis, it's Dolly, it's Jack, it's music, spirits. Very few places have like 3 entities that are known by like one word, right?
Great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
When somebody says Dolly, it's Dolly Parton, right?
Right.
And when somebody says Jack, it's Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
So.
And Elvis, you got
Elvis.
Great point.
Didn't need the Presley. It was just Elvis.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're a state of icons.
It really is, and it's a phenomenal place to be.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, overall, you can't complain about it.
Nope.
And one of the prettiest times of the year for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. I always look forward to.
Speaking of outdoor, if you want to do some outdoor adventure, Canoe the Caney does a haunted canoe trip down the Caney River.
No.
I don't know if I could do that because there's nowhere to run.
I mean,
you're just facing those ghosts.
My fat ass is going to fall over in that canoe, and it's going to be drown the Caney is what it's going to be. So that's what.
But would you haunt it if you could haunt anywhere in Tennessee? Where would you haunt?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could haunt. Now, when you're saying haunt, you're talking about like screw with people, like drop plaster.
For sure. Yes.
Oh, it'd be a Tennessee football game. I mean, think about it. You've got drunks. You could be the most obvious ghost, and they wouldn't. They'd be like, "What's up, man?" Like they wouldn't
even know you were there.
They wouldn't even know you were a ghost.
It'd
be like, "I tripped on my own." You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. But what about you? What would you do? Where would you haunt?
Oh man, probably. Well, I always say that if I ever get the chance to haunt after this life, that I'm going to some luxury resort and haunting the presidential suite somewhere that I could not afford.
That's hilarious.
Moving some stuff around, letting them know that I'm there.
That's it.
So probably Blackberry Farm.
But probably
didn't Dolly do Penthouse years ago? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Oh no, wait.
Now they don't know.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't think so. I think it was just an article.
Yeah, it's for the article. Tim, how about you? If you're going to be a ghost, where would you haunt?
I'm going to be the first ghost here.
The first ghost. Now,
Nice.
I'm telling you, you got. I cannot.
I can see that.
They're convinced. Nikki, everybody is just like, well, you can have it around the ghost spot.
Hang on.
But there's
Tim.
There's some. That's
well,
him.
Maybe somebody's beat me already.
What
The
in
lights
the
are
heck
going.
you got going on here?
The lights are
Maybe I'm
changing.
going to have to change my tour.
So I think we're going to have to change. You're going to have to change your motto of not being haunted here.
Well, you know the reason why we're not haunted here.
Why?
There's a faux scientific reason.
Okay.
The griffins that run around the top of the theater all the way around. Well, the ancients believed that they warded off evil spirits. So my explanation is the little fellas are still doing their job. Maybe. I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. If you haven't, I do want to say that you're talking about things to do. If you haven't come and taken a tour, I geek out on this every time we have a guest here and getting to show them the behind the scenes. But if you haven't got to come and do a tour, now I haven't had, and Jeff and I haven't had the chance to tour with you, Tim. I've heard it's a detailed and amazing.
It is. We call it our deluxe tour, and you go literally top to bottom from Gay Street to State Street. So it's a little over 2 hours. So it's a bit of a tour, but I enjoy doing them, and they're fun tours. And get on our website, Tennessee Theater. TennesseeTheater.com for more information on them.
Encourage everybody to come here and do that. This place is gorgeous, and we have loved doing our different shows here. And we've got a couple more for the year still to come. I'm looking forward to those, but yeah, I'd say definitely do your tours here, big time. Amanda, any other events? We got Grains. I think we mentioned that last month about Grains and Grits, but it's in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. Even if you don't have tickets, just the atmosphere of Townsend during that time, during the fall. It's great year round, but Townsend during the fall is pretty amazing.
It's beautiful.
So it'll be really good,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right, let's go through one more story, Tim. Give us a story, and go from there. You got another good story for us, or no?
There was an interesting story that was kind of floating around. Had to deal with a steel worker who supposedly fell to his death while they were building the theater. And the story goes, on the anniversary of his death, the seats in the area where he landed would flop down. Well, I've never experienced that, and for a long time there was no documentation of anyone ever dying during the construction period of this theater. That was people doing research on microfilm stuff. Now, in the age of technology, we have things like paper to pixels with the Knoxville Library, or also newspapers.com, where now you've got searchable databases.
Oh, wow.
Which I have gone through. And in fact, a steel worker did die here. It wasn't in the auditorium portion. It was building the extension to the Burwell building over the grand lobby. And some bricks came loose on the side of the Burwell building, hit him in the head, knocked him off his beam, and he fell and died somewhere in the grand lobby. So,
oh my goodness! Really?
But like I said, I've never seen anything that, not like the Bijou. I've never seen anything here that I couldn't explain.
Well, I don't. Yeah, this is supposed to be. They allow us to come in the theater on their off days. We're the stepchild that they don't want to put give too much freedom to. But so there's something going on here. I'm glad that you work here and this is your office. And I do hope that we've brought a ghost here so that Nikki could be uneasy going forward.
Yeah, well, after today, I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jeff, we've got stuff coming out. I know we talked about each episode, but want to tease a little bit about our Grains release? Or
yeah. So I think since we had the last Grains and Grits last year, we had a special cast strength offering and stuff like that, and I think that was very well received. And I think that's just fun if you're into spirits, whether you're into paranormal spirits or you're into distilled spirits. It's a great time to be in the Townsend area. and everybody seems to really enjoy it. But we're going to do a special release of the Tennessee 3 wood. So I think that we've already done a first release of it. We're going to single barrel that and kind of mix it up a little bit. So we'll have something exclusive at the distillery, both in Thompson Station and in Townsend. So if you're in Middle Tennessee, you can grab one there as well. But our plan is for every year. Every year around Grains and Grits in the fall, there should be something new that's come out. So.
Yeah, Grains and Grits is like, I know we talk about it and I love it. It's a great festival.
And don't let me forget, two bottles will be coming out alongside in distribution and package stores. So for people who like bourbon but also want to explore rye and Tennessee whiskey and different wood finishes, we're going to have more to offer. So we'll go from 1 bottle to 3 this fall in Tennessee and hopefully other states. We're kind of polling for interest right now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Amanda, what do you got going on this fall? I know you told us about a couple of things. Give us what's your one to-do thing you really thinking about?
The one thing that is still on my list, and it is pretty lengthy. I mean, 95 counties, right?
Yeah.
Ernestine and Hazel's in Memphis.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard.
It is, go to Ernestine and Hazel's for the soul burger and then stay to see if the jukebox will turn on by itself.
I like it. We're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great. There's one last thing, a little housekeeping for us. I wanted to take a moment. This is our 10th episode on the podcast. This actually is put on. You see my ugly mug and Jeff's face, and then our beautiful guest here. But it's put on in the background by a couple of people that have done a phenomenal job, and that's Kris Webster of Technically Altered and our very own Jenna Wagner. Miss Jenna is going to, she'll be leaving us. This will be her last show that she'll produce for us. She's going to go do her own thing. My guess is she's going to end up on the West Coast or Colorado or something in her van, Willie the van. So I just want to take a moment on air or on this podcast to tell her and tell Kris and Jenna that without this, we wouldn't be up here having a good time. And Jenna, you've done a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
And, you taking our craziness and
a legacy piece of work for sure.
100%.
Much appreciated.
And we can't. Yeah, this will be something that won't be forgotten ever, yep. And neither will your work. And so I want to say thank you to you guys. And Jenna, we're gonna miss you. I'll miss you like crazy. And I don't know who's gonna keep me from saying the F word on here. But we'll
hey, you got through the whole show today. I don't think you did one.
I didn't. It's fucking crazy.
Awesome.
There
you go.
The whole thing.
I just give you just a little bit.
I just need a sliver. So, but in all seriousness, thank you, Tim.
My pleasure.
So much fun. You were awesome. Dolly, great seeing you again.
This was so fun. Thank y'all.
We really appreciate it.
Oh,
and I'm going to get the hell out of here. I think Tim is a liar.
They're making me out one on this one.
I know, man. They're totally, they're throwing you on the bus. But we'll have
this hair just stood up on my head right here. Yeah.
Felt a little weird. But next month, Jeff actually is going to be, we're going to bring a couple other podcasters on here. And
we are.
And it's going to be great.
We'll do something on Grains and Grits weekend. People from different backgrounds who are all into spirits for different reasons, and just kind of the ties that bind, the reasons why we gather together.
That's right.
Gather around.
So guys, hope you all enjoy the rest of your October and your Halloween. And thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Yep. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.